and welcome to the Who We Become podcast, a space where we showcase product and service-based businesses, share the owner's journey, and provide visual experiences for all to enjoy. Hosted by Netta Dowdle, and new episodes go up every Tuesday and Thursday.
And on today's episode, we have Quentin Crawford. He is the owner, founder of The Good Jerky. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
Good. So I have a question for you. I'm wondering how this got started. So take us through this love story and niching down what exactly you wanted to start your business. And I think that's one of the biggest questions I get, or business owners get, like, how did you know? How did this love story start?
Okay, yeah, I'll give you a quick background. So me and my wife back in 2018, we were trying to take more control over our health. And essentially we did a bunch of research and decided that we wanted to do, and my bad, I was about to say I was trying to turn off my phone just to make sure we weren't interrupted.
Oh, no, you're good.
But yeah, so me and my wife did a lot of research and we decided we wanted to do pescetarianism, which for those who don't know, it's essentially vegetarianism, but you still eat a lot of seafood. You incorporate a lot of seafood in your diet, and there's a lot of health benefits to seafood. More particular is the omega-3s, which really helps fight some of the critical indispositions that are common not to just a lot of Americans, period, but to African Americans, like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, all that. So anyway, one of the things we immediately found out was we both busy. I was in school working on my MBA. I also had a full-time job. My wife was in the same situation, and we could not find any seafood snacks that were just conducive to our lifestyle.
Okay, so right there with your MBA, you already had a little bit of background knowledge. Is that like financially, or were you studying for business management?
Yeah, so mainly just business management. I graduated I got my undergrad in engineering and electrical engineering. So that was the full-time job, working as an electrical engineer. But just did that for about 3-4 years and decided that I wanted to actually get into the management route. And I went to University of Texas at Arlington, and they tricked me because the MBA, I was thinking was going to help me become a better manager to progress in that position. But the route I was on was more entrepreneurial, and it really shined a light and opened that up to me as far as what we could do. And so, like I said, just because I had that background, I was interested in trying to get my feet wet in entrepreneurialism.
But you got dunked in there.
Yeah, that's essentially how all this started. So yeah, just wanted to create something that, again, could abide by more particularly a pescetarian's diet, but really anybody who's trying to live an active, healthy lifestyle, but also is just really busy to the point where they don't always have time to go make their own meals or sit down and, put something together.
Right.
So yeah, we just ended up trying this. We ended up getting a dehydrator for our wedding gift. I was about to say, you're married, of course. You always got those people that think they know better than you. You come up with your registry and they're like, I didn't see this on here, but
right.
I know you want this.
Right.
So anyway, we ended up getting a dehydrator, and we had been playing around with it with real meat before. And me and her just decided to try it with fish. And the first time we did it.
What meat did you try?
Well, we did.
Like, I wouldn't even have thought that. Like, when I think of dehydrator, I think of fruit.
Oh, no. Well, so my wife did some eggplant, which was really good. But it just didn't last. The way that she was making it, it just didn't last that long, which is surprising because it's supposed to be dried. I used just some top sirloin meat. And again, this is back before we were pescetarianism, or before we were pescetarians.
Yeah.
But once we became pescetarians, that's when I was like, okay, let's see if we can figure something out with this. So yeah, we tried with some fish. We tried with, catfish, anything we get from the store, whiting, salmon. and just come to find out that salmon was the best fish to choose, just because all the other ones didn't. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest going that route.
But I mean, sometimes you have to try.
Absolutely.
Kind of figure it out. No, that's good, because I feel like my guilty pleasure is catfish, but after, trying so many other fish, you're like, man, catfish is not where it's at. But it's like, it's your first introduction to fish, in the hood, they fry it. That's it.
Yeah, it's still fish, so it's still healthier than red meat and poultry to a degree. But salmon and really just any other fish that is red meat, like steelhead trout and others, they just have a lot more nutrients and a lot more omegas in there. And the omega-3s and omega-6s are the biggest things when it comes to, again, trying to battle some of those critical indispositions. So, and again, I know this podcast is for anybody who's trying to be an entrepreneur. Just want to go ahead and say we have 4 flavors right now of fish jerky. And we're still actively taking in customer feedback on them. Nothing is perfect right now. And we're taking that feedback and using it to work on new flavors at the same time. So don't feel like and honestly, we didn't even go into this thinking that it was going to be a business. But for many folks, they think they got to have everything perfect, before they launch or before they start selling. And in actuality, I can show you a large range of the different designs that we have from a packaging standpoint. Again, I told you I don't think I've told you, but I spent about a year, just me and my wife, going through different flavors, trying to just nail down what
that was literally my next segue. So you're gonna ease right in there then.
Yeah. So I mean, it took a long time. Again, because we were busy, and then with dehydrating fish specifically, you got to dehydrate it like 10 hours, right? So you put together your test batch, you wait 10 hours, and then after that 10 hours, I mean, me and my wife, we were doing other stuff, so it would dehydrate, and then like 2 days later, we would come back and say, okay, let's try it now. Oh no, too salty or too sweet. So it just took a very long time. But like I said, we did that for about a year, and then we finally launched at the beginning of 2019, and just did a bunch of festivals, private events, and got a lot of good feedback from people. And then 2020, I was about to say, don't know if I'm giving you too much right now, but
oh no, you're good.
All right. 2020, we were like, okay, let's try and get into some brick and mortars, and of course that 2020 happened. So
yeah, everybody thought brick and mortars was the answer until it wasn't the answer. So now you're learning how to pivot, right? Like, right. If I'm really an innovative business, how much do I have in my tank to just set to the side for extra things that may come up? That's the hardest things. It's thinking that you have it figured out, and then realizing that nobody had it figured out.
Absolutely. You can never, once you become an entrepreneur, you realize how much you don't have figured out. But that's the fun of being an entrepreneur, because you're essentially finding your way through the darkness, and every now and then you get little hints and clues and stuff to help you move forward. But no, entrepreneurism, that is the word, right? I feel like I might have been making that up.
Yeah, I got what you're saying though.
Becoming an entrepreneur, again, is you just gotta make sure that you don't think in your mind that you're gonna have all the answers, right? Yeah. Every day there's a new challenge. Every day there's something where you gotta make a decision, and it's not going to be an easy decision. It may not even be an 80-20, educated guess. It's I've got what I have in front of me, and I got to make a decision.
Right. So I think one of the things that I appreciate the most about entrepreneurship is the fact that you and other people in the entrepreneurial space, you have to acknowledge the fact that you don't know what's going on, and you're working and fine-tuning those skills. Whereas in my previous job, it was almost as if you were the only one that realized something was a problem, and you were like, hey, are we going to solve this problem? No, let that problem be that problem. And I guess we'll run into it when everything collapses, essentially. So in that space, what really moves you guys to start developing new flavors? How did this awareness develop as you guys were trying to get more into the business side?
So it's all about reading the market, right? Reading your customer. And so one of the things that we immediately knew even before we launched was the power of three, right? People just, there's something about having three options or the number three where everybody just naturally has an affinity or they gravitate towards that. So we already knew before we launched, we had to have three flavors, and that was our sweet and smoky, our spicy barbecue, and our sweet honey teriyaki. And the way we came up with that was just literally asking customers, asking people, if how do you like your salmon? Not even dried, but just how do you like your salmon? The spicy barbecue was a little different. Not many people associate barbecue with salmon, mainly just because, I'm sorry, the main reason we came up with that was because we're down in Texas, right?
Yeah,
Texas,
like a Chipotle barbecue type thing.
Yeah, so, and that's actually the Texans' favorite over the other ones. Everybody else, most of our sales are out in California or in like Northwest Pacific, and then also in New York. They all gravitate to the other two flavors.
Really?
But Texans love barbecue. So,
yeah.
But even now, we launched our trout, our stillhead trout. So that's our habanero honey flavor, which is doing very well. And then we're working on two other flavors, which I'm not going to give them away. We've narrowed it down to three. And we got to do a taste test down in Austin here in 2 weeks to solidify those two, but or the last two. But all it is making sure that you're aware that you reach out to your customers and ask them what they want. Because as much as I like certain flavors, or my wife or anybody else on my team,
right?
Once you put something out into the market is going to decide if you're successful or not, right?
Yeah.
So you can never get too much feedback from your customers.
That is dope. Now, going down to these last 5 minutes, in this COVID era where there's a whole bunch of food and other items at the docks and not able to get in and their timing is off and everything, were you impacted by that, or are your facilities stateside?
So majority of our ingredients come from US, so we haven't been affected too much. The only thing that we have not been, or that will affect us, is ordering our bags. So that's one thing I'm learning. Again, you get different challenges every day, right? So our bags actually come from overseas, and normally I wait until I get down to a certain percentage before I place another order. And normally by then I've recuperated enough cost tag to place that order. But now I'm in an instance where I need to have working capital or a line of credit, because two things are about to happen. First, shipping is just naturally going to increase. The shipping cost is naturally going to increase during the holiday season, right? And then also, because of everything that's happening with the ports in California, that's just naturally going to increase prices. So I'm looking to place an order this month, and I haven't recouped enough costs. So again, trying to make sure that you have a good banker that's working with you and that can help you out with maintaining your operations, or the financial means to maintain your operations or your advertising or anything that you need is really good. Just having folks in the boat, whether it's in, I was about to say, I know you were asking specifically about shipping, but whether it's financial, legal, a subject matter expert in your field. So I've got a subject matter expert who's got 30 plus years in the consumer packaged goods space that I bounce ideas off of. Meeting with them, every other week right now just really helps me and prepares me to again try and make the best decision that I can.
Yes, absolutely need to lean on other people no matter how much the industry evolves. So That is good knowledge. I want to be considerate of your time, and we are wrapping up. So tell the audience where we could find, I feel like there has been so much, and this talk could go for a long time, but
I
I've
know.
learned so much, and I'm so glad that you guys are scaling and finding those bottlenecks, and you have the capacity to get in front of them, because it could almost collapse your business if you realize too late, like, hey, I didn't have these SOPs together. And now that the customer has a certain expectation, we still have to meet demand. So I'm really glad you guys are ahead of that. But go ahead and let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah, so online, of course, what social media standpoint, it's anything at the Good Jerky. So Facebook, Instagram. My VP of sales just made us a TikTok. I don't even know what that's for, but you can find us there. But from a purchasing standpoint, you can find us on Amazon. If you're in the DFW area, you can find us on GoPuff, which is like a Uber Eats, but mainly for snacks. And then also just around Texas, we're in Central Market, we're in Royal Blue Groceries, Sunflower Shop, and just a few other small mom and pop shops. We are in the process of actually creating a little map on our website as well, to just let people know in the future where.
Like putting your zip code and the nearest one.
Yeah, the nearest retail store. But I was gonna say, worst case scenario, you can always order us on Amazon and get it essentially same day or the next day, just just depending on your Prime status.
Awesome. Right. Basil's things. So thanks, guys, for tuning into this episode. This episode is sponsored by GSTW, where we find and fund your purpose through e-commerce.